somebody like this to become such a bright light and a pillar to her community as she is, there's a story behind her glory. Let's give it up for our dear friend, sister, and community member, Alia Clark.
Thank you. As a young Alia, I was a passionate kid. I grew up in a home with a mother and a father, both in there, Kenneth and June Clark, just being parents.
So how did you even get into basketball?
My dad was so overprotective, I couldn't be around boys. I wanted to play basketball because I wanted to be able to be around the boys, and that's just the God honest truth. I'm sorry. I just knew that I was good, and I won 4 championships. I got down to West Virginia. Immediately, I felt like I was being mistreated. He didn't suspend nobody in that room. They put me on ESPN, Alia Clark suspended indefinitely. I felt like I let my city down. I feel like I let my parents down. One day, my life changed dramatically. I see the hugest brawl in America. I remember raising up and I hear someone like, Leah. And before I could turn, someone already ran over me and hit me with a Chevy Suburban XL truck. I was eating through an IV for 2.5 months, laying on my stomach. I had different family members cleaning me. I had holes in my back from catching infections, whereas though they had to keep lancing it. If I got 9 lives, I only got 2 left. Because each time God saves me, He keeps bringing me back for a reason, so I know my purpose ain't done yet. I still know that I got work to do.
I'm busy loving myself, putting me first. Now that I know I deserve more, I'm busy loving myself, putting me first. Made up my mind, I'm on my grind. My time to shine, you hit my line. I press decline, no time for that. I'm moving forward and right now. You're in my past, I've come too far to turn back now. Not going back, I see that everybody's sleeping on me. They really gotta see it to believe.
Welcome back to another episode of I Love Me More. I'm Tara Wallace.
And I'm Dr. Jamila T. Davis.
Jamila, one of the great things I feel about people sitting on the love seat is that you really get to go back, right, and do some of the introspective works. Perhaps it's against things that we haven't thought of, things that we've been made aware of. I've learned so much from the women sitting on this couch about being a mom, self-checking, and also being able to go back into the book and rethink some of my answers at the very end of some of the chapters. I think it's constantly putting me to work.
That's what's up.
To better myself, and not just bettering myself for the purposes of me, but also bettering myself for the purposes of the work that we're doing.
It's so important that we as sisters exchange information because nobody gives us a manual of life, right? We learn geometry in school. We might learn spelling and, something about geography, but nobody really teaches us how to deal with our emotions, how to deal with family, what to do. Many of us don't even have sisters. We don't talk about these things. Some of these things are considered taboo. So this place is really a safe place to come talk, to come tell, to come heal. And then what I'm loving is a lot of our sisters, including myself, are going to therapy because that's necessary. And we know that there's a stigma, especially in the African-American community, about going to therapy. First thing folks want to say is, I ain't crazy.
Right.
But the truth is, we all could use a safe place to share, to heal, and to get some of that luggage, heavy luggage and heavy burden up off of us. So I'm excited about us coming to this place and just having this platform so folks can share, heal, learn, and become their better self.
Look, I've never gone to therapy myself, but it is one of my next steps.
Hold up, hold up, Tara, because I didn't even realize
share that with you.
It's so important because we claim we heal, but we really don't heal until we see all of our blind spots. I mean, the work is good, the books are good, but therapists are really safe. Right. They're good people, and the dope part about them is you don't have to worry about your dirty laundry being aired back out by somebody who gets mad at you. This is non-judgmental space to be able to share. So therapy, y'all, is important. I've gone, I've continued to go. I have to go now with all of these heavy stories. And it's just a refreshing place that helps to also keep me on track.
I think I haven't not gone because of any stigmas attached. It's literally just been me not making the time for it.
And again, Tara, we're going to I Love me more. What does that mean? We can't just be saying this, sis. We got to live this.
Absolutely.
I love me more, meaning nothing is more important than me. I got to make the time. I got to make the space. I got to make the place, to be my best self. Because if I'm not, right, then whatever I give myself,
Right.
check this out. That's what the universe is going to give me. So if I'm not giving myself enough, then guess what? I'm not going to get enough back that I need to get in order to become or rise to my greatest potential. So please put them out, and we're gonna go together. And I'm looking forward to our retreat, because that is a place where we can go and really seek help together and heal.
Absolutely. Look, well, I'm excited about that. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Yes, I'm so excited for you too. So y'all, I don't know if you've been leveling up. I don't know if you've been in your book, but you should be. This is really a thing for us, y'all. We be taking care of the kids, our man, our jobs, and all the things, but we're not taking care of ourselves. So if you haven't already, make sure you get our book, right? I Love Me More, the 8 steps to breaking free from toxic relationships. And I promise you, this is not your regular book. This is a healing tool. It's a place where you can really, really get to know yourself, take a look at other people, see the similarities, and really do that wellness check that you need to do for yourself.
Guys, make sure that you stay tuned to our next guest. It's going to be an amazing guest. And what I love about this guest, just really quickly, is these are women from our community that are coming in to share their stories. So please let us go pay some bills. In the meantime, if you're not in our community, please go sign up to www.blackwomens'livesmatter.com.
That's something you are going to so enjoy. Make sure you join the community. Thank you for mentioning that, Tara. And yes, let's pay these bills. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Jamila T. Davis, and I got a special offer for you, right? It's my gift from me to you. You want to level up? You want to manifest the life of your dreams? Well, I'm going to give you a piece of the plan, right? It starts with my Manifested Now vision plan. So follow me. It's actually the template that I use each and every year to get into my goals, my dreams. And unlike a vision board, I actually put this document on paper with goals and dreams and plans of who I want to be and what I want to become. And now you could do it too. It's time to level up, y'all. It's time to be the best you that you could possibly be. And I'm going to give you the plan. And best of all, I'm going to give it to you for free. Click the link right here. Download today and level up. Make sure you share the results with me. This is the exact plan that I've been doing for the last 4 years. And each and every year is taking me higher and higher. And I pray it does the same for you. All right, y'all. So welcome back. Welcome back. This is another episode that, you're going to get something from. Our next guest is a part of our community. We speak to regular, everyday people that do extraordinary things and have incredible and amazing strength. And when I got to meet this next young lady, it was just something about her that immediately caught my attention. She was so resilient. She was leading in the community, hands on the ground, doing amazing work. And I said to myself, somebody like this, to become such a bright light and a pillar to her community as she is, there's a story behind her glory. And we're going to get into it today. So let's give it up for our dear friend, sister, and community member, Alia Clark.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Love Seat, Alia.
Thank you, finally.
Look, I feel like we've kind of gotten to know you in the community, but this is a different space, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to get comfortable. Because we want to really get to know who you are today.
Absolutely.
Women come here and they're sharing their stories to turn their pain into purpose, right? And I see a level of dedication in you just from, as Jamila spoke about before the moment, anyone meets you, they know your cause, they know your purpose. But we want to get to, what's behind that, why you're so passionate about it. And so, with that, I want you to take us back to growing up, where you're from, and what that looks like.
I'm Alia. My name is Alia Clark, and I grew up from Newark, New Jersey. just a kid from the number blocks of Avon Avenue, and they call it number blocks. And it's like one of the strongest but toughest South Ward hoods, where gang community is very, very big at, which is the blood gang. So it's a lot. It's a lot to be able to have to come out aside and see this, or know someone or a friend that's like 13, 14 that's gonna die or in a gang. Because back then, when the gangs came out, it was just like, it wasn't like any love to me. It didn't look like love, because a lot of things that the gang members and the people that were initiating to do, it was like totally like hazing. So, you know, if they ban hazing for sororities and fraternities, and this is kind of like a street gang, it was like, wait a minute, this is something I can't be a part of.
All right, so you're talking about the streets, but when you grew up in Newark, was it like that? Or what was life like growing up in the number blocks?
Well,
was it the crime and things that you're talking about now? Or was it like that growing up as
No, actually,
young Alia?
growing up as a young Alia, I was a passionate kid. I grew up in a home with a mother and a father, both in there, Kenneth and June Clark, just being parents. My mother grew up in a family of 13 brothers and sisters, whereas though your household was the aunts, about 11 on the third floor, 13 on the second floor, 9 on the first floor. So we had like a whole family in a 1-3 family flat is what they call it, house. So we had 11 family. My parents were great. I went to school. I went to 2 schools, but my mom decided, hey, I'm not letting you go to a Newark school for high school, so you're gonna go to another school. So I went to Bloomfield Tech. I wasn't the child that could walk to school. My dad took me to school from kindergarten to 12th grade. So I wasn't that kid that could just get up and go. But when I did everything sneaking out and doing. And that's where a lot of my problems caused, because I grew up in a loving home. It's just me wanting to be outside with everybody else and do what everybody. I have friends who can stay out till 11 and 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning at 13. How? You know, and I'm like, oh my God, they got the life. They got the life. But, you know, we're going to go get a little deeper into that. But I look back now, she's dead. You get what I'm saying? Because the guidelines that my parents set for me, although I went astray, I was able to always pull it back because my parents gave me the knowledge. I grew up in a Christian home. My grandfather was a pastor. My grandmother was an evangelist. We had one of the largest churches, Pentecostal at the time, Pentecostal Temple of Faith on Clinton Avenue in Seymour. So I grew up in that great environment with parents and loving. I went to high school, then I went to college.
But even before that, right? You was a basketball star, and I just found that out, Tara, this week.
Oh, I found that out a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was at the time number 1 player in the state.
So you see how she just slid by that, right?
Slid by
The
that,
number
right?
1 player in the state.
Yep. In 99.
So how did you even get into basketball?
Do you want the truth or you want like?
We want the whole truth
Okay, I gotta get
and
the
nothing
truth.
but.
My dad was so overprotective, I couldn't be around boys. So the only way I thought I could be around them if I played basketball, played a sport that they played. So I dedicated myself to be, because I had strict parents. When I say helicopter parents, I had helicopter parents.
No, listen, I had helicopter parents too, so I would go to revivals so I can meet boys.
Exactly.
Like try to sit in the back of the church and like pass my number, you know, and give me, you know, something.
Until grandma walked over there and tried to paddle you. But definitely, like, I wanted to play basketball because I wanted to be able to be around the boys. And that's just the God honest truth. So I'm sorry, Dad.
But then you become the number 1 player in the state?
Yes.
Wanting to see the boys turns into that?
Yes.
Now they coming to see you.
They coming to see me. So with that being said, my dad, I just got good at it. You guys, I crafted. I woke up every day, every morning, 5:30 in the morning, went across the street to my neighborhood, what we call Madison Square Garden, because the name of it's called Madison. So it's like, if you can survive in the garden, you can survive anywhere. So they started me on a gate. So as a kid, I had to start on the gate first. You got to move as levels to this. So I started on the gate where you throw the ball on the gate. Then they let me go to the 1 hoop. Then I was able to come to the big stage and play with the big people. So once then they took notice to me, like, oh, she's great. So my dad's like, wait a minute, my daughter got something here. So he started putting me in little camps and things like that and sending me to different things. And I just developed stronger and stronger. All I ever played was men, not boys, men. We talking about 20s, 30s, roughing me up. So when I really crafted the skill, before I knew it, I was just good. I didn't know how I got here. I just knew that I was good. And I won four championships.
Wow.
4 championships. I was All-American. I was Excuse me, let me correct that. I was all state first team. I was all area first team. I was all Essex County first team. I was player of the year. So it's just like, and I had some great, phenomenal women who came before me that was able to show me, like the Gail Allens, the Samira O'Briens, the Rashida Browns of Shabazz, the Shantae Owens, the first one from Newark to go to the WNBA at the time. So these girls really excited and showed me the ropes of that. And I
love
became
that.
great. And then I had like, I want to say like 30 to 40 Division I schools, but I chose West Virginia University because I wanted to go to a school that no one ever made. So I was like, dang, this is school for me. But things changed when I got there.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, I got down to West Virginia and I haven't experienced racism. I'm from Newark, you know? I'm from the city life. So I don't know what racism look like. My parents didn't prepare me for this thing. So I get down to Morgantown, West Virginia, and it's not like a lot of individuals like ourselves there. You got everyone of different other nationalities, and only people that there I felt like wasn't the educational people, it was the athletic people that were African Americans. They may have been others, but I wasn't privy to that because everyone I saw played on the sports team. So going out there, I got out there, and immediately I felt like I was being mistreated. And I never shared this story. It's my first time ever sharing this story because of the fact that I love basketball so much, and I felt like West Virginia took it from me. And they took it from me because of the fact that another young lady of a different nationality, she had been doing stuff for the whole time. I was down there and stuff, and I know that I was a good basketball player. And she was just like antagonizing me. So when she threw something at me, I immediately threw it back, but it hit her. And when it hit her, instead of both of us being suspended, I was suspended.
Wow.
So that was the first episode of turn of events. Like, okay,
Suspended
this
from
is
school
racism.
or basketball?
This is basketball.
I mean, you were suspended from basketball.
Basketball.
Okay.
For the first, it was like my sophomore year. And it was all because I felt like it really wasn't because of me. It was because of someone else. It was because of I had skills. I was great at this game. I can play it. But then you have other individuals who've been there before you, like, oh, how she's gonna come take my spot, how she's gonna do this. And it was favoritism. Had I known what I was getting into, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say it on air now, I would have signed with the University of Missouri. I would have went to Mizzou. Coach Steinberg, I'm sorry. She came into my living room, the only coach ever pulled up in the hood of Newark, New Jersey before my grandmother passed, and sat on that couch and said, we want her. We're gonna make her great. We're gonna do whatever it takes, Mom. Trust her in my hands. But what happened was West Virginia came in last. After I told Coach Steinberg I wanted to come there, they came in and they brought me down there when they played the University of Miami. And this was homecoming weekend. At the time, West Virginia was the #1 party city in the nation.
You had never seen anything.
Never seen that. I'm 17 years old.
And so they got you, they bamboozled your butt.
Homecoming week.
Homecoming weekend, University of Miami. You got Santana Moss in the building. You got Najee Davenport. All of these prospects that's going to the league. You got the Antonio Browns. You had the best of the best. Barrett Green, the Amos Zerways from Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, all of these guys I know. So these guys went to West Virginia. So I'm like, oh my God. And testosterone kicked in. Like, oh my God, these men got testosterone buildings, you know. The thing that we talk about is women. So I'm like, oh my God, I never seen them. 17 years old, all of these people. Party was amazing. My host was amazing. By the time I got home, my mom said, your letter of intent came for Missouri. I said, I'm signing with West Virginia. Because when I went to Missouri, I didn't get to go to the parties. No one was in town.
Wow.
And stuff. So I was young. I needed my parents to be there with me, to help me choose. Because I believe, like, although I went there and I learned a lot from being there, I learned that I had to hustle more hard. I learned that I had to work harder than anybody else. And I was great coming from where I was at. And a lot of them girls wasn't the #1 player where they were from. You get what I'm saying? So I felt like I came there and I should have been privileged, but I wasn't. So I had to still work harder than everyone else. So one day, the next time, let me end my story with West Virginia because I want to end them well. We was in Tulane. And one of my teammates got into it. Mind you, she's 6'7", 6'6", maybe, 6'6", center. So we got into it over a guard post situation. So we got into it and I'm like, are we really gonna get into this over this now? She was like, yeah, we are. So we went back to the hotel. I'm little. She's real, real big. So we got into it. We got the tussling. She thought she had the best of me, but my Newark kicked in. So I'm gonna be honest, I did take a chair, one of the thick ones, and break it over her because she was a bigger girl. And I wouldn't be able to handle it. So make a long story short, security came into the Embassy Suites Hotel. The coaches came. They didn't ask any questions. They was like, okay, suspended. So I'm like, all right, okay. So they ships us back home from our holiday tournament out there in Tulane. We gets back to West Virginia. My mom, she's upset. They call her, tell her they have to ship me back. So I had to sit out the rest of the season. And then after that season was over, now, you know I have a rap sheet, right? From the first, this is 2 incidents that occurred at West Virginia University. So now the coach is fired. They bring in a new coach. I felt like he never gave me a chance. I felt like he went back in my rap sheet, just like they all do when you're in jail or anything else. They don't give you that chance to know you. So I felt like he never gave me a chance to know me. He wanted to bring his own people in. He wanted to change the organization, the structure of things, and I just didn't fit the bill. After reading, she was in 2 altercations. Not even knowing, I don't feel like the altercations was my fault, but I was there, I had to deal with it, I owned up to it, and that's just how it was. So as I went on into time, a young lady that he brought in at the time, we were at someone else's house. Like, you know, when you're in the dorms, we didn't have to live in the dorms after you get a certain age, you can get your own apartment. So we're in an apartment and things like that. So I happened to come over to one of the basketball players' apartment that day. So one of our roommates got into it with the young lady. So they're back and forth and things like that. And I felt like I was guilty by association because I was there. He didn't suspend nobody in that room. And I didn't even get into it with the young lady. Wow. He suspended me indefinitely, and my mom had to read it across ESPN. I used to play on ESPN. They put me on ESPN. Alia Clark suspended indefinitely.
Wow.
Indefinitely. Wow. Scholarship. My mother, that's all she thought about. I can't pay for college.
So you had a full ride?
I had a full ride. My mother said, I can't pay for college. So I knew that it had to be something more major because the coach told me, oh, I'm suspending you indefinitely, but I'm allowing you to finish out your scholarship, but you is going to be gone by next year. So I had to hustle myself and graduate from a 4-year program in 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I had to go to school and take 20 classes, 20 hours a semester, just so that I didn't have the money to pay for my college. So I had to, summer, I took 20 classes. Fall, I took 18 classes. The next year, I took 21. This is what I had to do because I couldn't afford college. So I thank God I graduated from a 4-year program in 3 years with a perseverance because I knew my parents couldn't afford it. And I knew I hurt them, so I had to give them something else to forgive me for because this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm the first person to go to college in my family. So this was an opportunity of a lifetime. And I felt like at the time, I took it for myself. But now that I look back on it, I didn't do anything wrong. I stood up for myself. And this place that you call West Virginia at the time, they were not African-American friendly. They became that now after they became this big mogul, and I watch them play now. And I wish I had the opportunity now. But back then, it was an opportunity. You still had Ku Klux Klan walking through the thing, and they wasn't gonna say anything.
Look, I just want to say we relate. I paid for school, but I finished in 3.5 years too.
Yes, so we gotta win.
So I also relate to you because you know, I was incarcerated. Yes. I started my time off in Danbury, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. You know, Connecticut is one of the most prestigious states in the country, right? So we had a certain kind of lifestyle as prisoners even, right? Mm-hmm. And I finished my sentence at Alderson, West Virginia. Wow. And it was a culture shock for me.
Oh, wow.
And I never saw like racism to that level where the folks would steal, like for holidays, like in the feds, you get like good food, like really, really good food. They would steal our steaks and stuff and not let us have them and give us like really bad stuff. It was terrible. So I could kind of relate to you in regards to when you get to certain particular types of states, the racism is real. And I guess maybe we don't do a good enough job at helping prepare folks for the culture shock. Yes. And if I guess someone would have culturally kind of prepared you to what you would experience maybe potentially in a place like West Virginia, you might have been prepared to deal with what was up ahead.
Exactly, because I was not prepared for racism. We from Newark, New Jersey. We in the city. I wasn't prepared for West Virginia. No one's prepared for West Virginia. I don't care what state you in. them Commonwealth states, you're not prepared for them because they have their own way of doing things and they stick together. Morgantown is, you don't see too many residents. It is a college campus. It's full of college students out there. Our thing is burning couches.
Wow.
That's something you would never hear in New York City or New Jersey. Like, no, we may go out and rally and stuff like that, but burn a couch?
That's different.
That's different.
Okay, so let's flip this real quick. So that is definitely trauma.
Yes, a lot of
Because
trauma.
now you feel like you go from winning to failing because you're taught to win.
Yeah.
You've been trained to be a winner from a young kid at the Madison Square Garden, right?
Because that's called a garden. You got to know what the garden is.
And also succeeding off of your merit, just merit alone. And you thought that is enough.
Exactly.
So you doing all of these things and you trained to win and now you seem to potentially have failed. How does that affect you? And then where do you go from West Virginia?
Oh my God. Like, you really put me on the spot with that because this is my story for real. This is who I am for real. And I never told this story. And a lot of people are going to reach out for this story because I was somebody in this life. And they're going to be like, oh my God, there she goes. Like, I feel like I went into hiding. I felt like I let my city down. I feel like I let my parents down. So when I came back, the first year after I came home from college, I was like, man, I got to go back and get a master's degree. I got to do something different to prove to my mother. At this point, now I want to prove I'm educated. I want to prove I'm smart to them because of the fact that my mother kept saying, that was a dumb decision. That was a dumb decision. Now you don't have anything else. What are you going to do? You going to come back here? You're going to be here? Like, she was bestowing it on me so hard. So now I got to get a master's. I got to figure it out. I got to get money. I got to do this. I got to do that because now I let my parents down. They thinking I was the hope and the savior. I'm 20 years old. I don't know what else to do here. But I got to save my parents out of poverty. I got to, and my mother worked at a hospital. She just retired after 38 years. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, my dad was in the streets. Dad, I'm sorry I'm telling you a story, but my dad was in the streets. My dad was one of the biggest of the biggest. They called him Buddha Ben. We sold weed. He was the weed man for the whole hood. And the thing is that my dad was always out in the street working and my mom was always working. So it was like they would fill up the refrigerator and stuff. So when I came home from college, I didn't really deal with my trauma because it just seemed like they were so upset with me. It seemed like I've agitated them. It seemed like I always was bothering them just for being around because they were so mad that I lost my scholarship. And I was trying to explain to them like it wasn't my fault. You didn't prepare me for what these people was finna do to me. I didn't know what racism looked like. I didn't know how to act during racism. So it was like...
and it's also a real thing.
It's a real thing when you're going through them things. So now I'm coming back home with the mind frame. I gotta get money. Exactly. I gotta get money. How I'm gonna get money? Where I'm gonna get money from? I never had a job. My parents took care of me all my life. What I'm gonna do? So then, at that time, that's when I had met my boyfriend at the time, or whatever. I met him down at the gambling hall, or whatever, in Newark. And actually, my uncle called me down there and was like, hey, I need you to come and pick something up for me. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I goes down there to pick something up from him. This guy just walks out. And he comes down the stairs, and I'm just like, who is this? Jewelry on. He ready to go. I looked over and saw that double row on his arm. I'm like, I see the double row. I know to count diamonds. When I see him, I know diamonds when I see it. So I'm like, okay, this is this. So my uncle introduced me. And from that day, like, me and that guy was like so duper. We were close. We were cool. We became cool before we became an item. So then they became an item. Boom, we're an item. Now we're around the streets of Newark. We're going out. We're partying at Mars 2112. We're cheetahs. He's with Little Kim. He's very like somebody now. So he has like all of the celebrities hanging out with us. We're pulling up. It's the first time I don't walk in. I don't go through lines no more. I'm in the front. I'm walking straight through the front. I'm in VIP. We popping bottles. We living our best life.
Wow.
Everything's on top of the hill. I'm going to college with my master's degree. Life is just so good. So then...
where are you at college for your master's, by the way?
West Virginia. I started off with West Virginia.
Oh, you just started? Okay.
Yep. Started off with West Virginia. And then...
And your master's degree where?
I got my master's out of Wayne State University. After that, when I went to Detroit. So I was excited, but I didn't go back there just yet because when I came back home, I graduated in 2002. So I came back home from 2002 to 2004. So this is the time I met my boyfriend. So I was excited, I had a boyfriend that had money, and I didn't know what he was into, guys. I just thought he was in real estate, construction, because this is what he said. He told me this. But the good thing about it, I wasn't privileged to none of that. So I didn't know nothing. So even if they came and asked me something, I don't know. This man is in construction. He flip houses. He got money, and that's what he do. We got $10,000 chandeliers. I don't know how we came with that, but it's construction money. We got chandeliers. So eventually he starts showing me the life. This was the biggest moment of my life, the most money I ever seen. You know, walked into the Maury store in New York, the factory. He knew the owner of Maury Hornbacks. Went in there, had me some custom gators with the hornback on there. I thought we was winning, Jamila. I thought we was winning. I thought I was on top of my game. Then I went to school one day, and I got a call from one of my friends. She said, Alia, I see his car outside on Court Street, his Mercedes-Benz. Now, mind you, I'm in West Virginia in college. It's only 5.5 hours drive. I got the call maybe about 2:30 in the morning. I was on the road by 2:35 a.m. in the morning, driving straight to Newark. By the time I got here, his car wasn't out there. I got here probably like 5.5 hours later, but I was sitting on my own car. So as the young lady was bringing her daughter out to school, like where we at in the projects, where she lived at, you could come down the steps, you could look out the window and see the person. So I was sitting on the steps on the top of my hood on my car like this. So when she came down, she rolled the window down. She opened her window up, and she said, Leah, what's wrong? What's up? I said, no, I'm gonna beat your ass. Because I felt like I put you around my boyfriend. How dare you? I put all my girls on somebody. I wasn't that friend. Mm-hmm. If I got a boyfriend and he got 10 homeboys, you got one, you got one, you got one, you got. Don't choose what I have, because what I have is for me. Mm-hmm. So I left my guard down because I brought them around. And one of my close friends, she actually told me, oh, can such and such start hanging with us? She's cool, da-da-da. So, like, one of my friends, Raquel, always tells me, you're too friendly. Mm-hmm. Stop being so friendly with these girls. You don't even know them. I said, but we got to get to know people, because that's how you communicate. That's how you know who got what and what they got going on. Because I communicate because I like to make partnerships. I like to know what you got going that potentially could help me. I'm a thinker, overthinker at times. But I always try to find a bag. Like, okay. So I'm thinking like, all right, I know she worked downtown. She probably could help us with this. So yeah, bring her around. She'd be useful, you know, but not in a million years.
Did you think she was going to be messing with your man?
Messing with my man. So make a long story short, that day.
Did she come on down them steps?
She didn't come down the steps. But what happened was I waited. She didn't. She went back upstairs. 3.5 later hour, I called by, I'm not going to lie, I called by like 10 cars deep, because I have family that's blood. So I called 10. I just wanted not to get jumped in Court Street, because I'm in the project, in the middle of a project. So I called some cars down. They came down maybe 3 hours later. I knocked on the door. Sister came out. Where your sister at? And then when she came out, it was a wrap after that. After that, I called my significant other. I told him so. And this is when I had strength to leave, because I was in the prime of my life. You got strength when you're younger, because you got your whole life ahead of you. I wasn't one of them girls like, oh my God, I can't leave. I can't leave. You know what I'm saying? I got older and got like that. Younger me, I'll pull off on you.
So you told me he violated and he was out.
Violated and I was out. And he couldn't believe it. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Someone's lying to you. You chose that yourself. I'm like, no, I didn't. I ain't choose that for myself. So once I left, stuff hit the fan. Maybe a year or two later, he was indicted. 20 people told on him. I didn't know after reading the articles in the paper, $2 million he was making $2 million a month in heroin.
Oh, wow.
Flooding the whole East Coast, allegedly. He had like over 20, 30 cars, allegedly. Them houses I thought was construction houses. They were supposed to be his house, allegedly. You know, all of these things was in paper and in writing. This is what the indictment came down on. So I'm looking at this like...
So you actually, escaped the bullet.
I escaped the big bullet. Yeah. Because I didn't know unless, it just happened. So next thing you know, okay, that happens. And I'm like, whew, dodge the bullet, still love him. But thank God it isn't me. Apologize.
Do you think that this was at a very vulnerable state? You feeling like a failure, you're home.
Yes.
Maybe you were attracted to somebody you would probably just look at and keep going. Yeah, he's cute, keep pushing. And then he almost seemingly answered your prayers. Like, my parents think I'm not going to have money.
Yeah.
Think I'm not going to do well. So now look at me. This person's, he's in construction.
Exactly.
He's flipping houses. So I'm going to be a part of that. And, in that vulnerable state when we make such decisions, but somebody must be in your favor. There's some instincts that you're trusting, because the way you walked away.
It's God.
Yeah.
The reason why, because I had a king already. I'm not one of these little girls that didn't have a king to see what a real man looked like. My father brought the paycheck home to my mother. I grew up in that lifestyle where he brought the paycheck, she paid the bills. And we were well taken care of. He showed me what a man's supposed to look like, how a man's supposed to treat a woman. He treated my mother with nothing but the utmost respect. I never seen any other women. And if it was, we had an incident where my mom was very upset because I came downstairs early that morning to go to school and it was a note on the mirror. Mom, I know you're gonna be mad, but yes, it was a note on there. I remember what the note said. I don't. But at the end of the day, other than that incident, I never saw my dad mistreat my mom. So that's why I was able to say, wait a minute, I got a daddy. I don't gotta take this. I got my own money. I don't gotta take this because in my mind, my dad was still gonna help me. He wasn't gonna let me fold or fail. But they just put a lot of pressure on me to have my own, to do it on your own. I didn't have a big sister to lean on or to get advice from, to communicate with, because I'm an only child to my mother.
That's good.
You get what I'm saying? So because I'm an only child, I only had my thoughts to think about and whoever was sitting next to me. And I had some positive friends around me that were trying to help me, that I was able to spend a night at their house when I, wasn't able to stay at my parents.
But despite that, you did a good job because you made the right choice. So what happened after that choice?
After I left that guy or whatever, the choice was to still stay home. And I started getting into a lot of fights. I just started getting in a lot of mess, like messy stuff. Like arguing with people, going to clubs with my friends. They'll have to give me a pet talk before we get there and be like, listen, we're going to this club today and there's no fighting, Leah. Or Leah, we going to the club. If somebody step on your feet, just let it go. I'm not letting it go because I feel like everybody was doing stuff intentionally at this time because I'm going through some stuff.
So what I hear, Alia, is trauma is now causing you to be angry and causing you to lash out.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like a failure to a certain degree to family, and you're trying to compensate that through fighting and so forth and so on. So that's what it sounds like you're really going through in a turmoil.
But the thing is that when I say I let everybody down, I was holding my community up on my back with this basketball game. Everyone in the community believed that I was supposed to have been in the league. A lot of people say I'm before my time because I'm really that good in that sport. Like I could have been on the level. Like the people that played with me was Swing Cash. I played against Swing Cash. I played around against Donna Taurasi. I played against Asia Jones. I played against Ruth Riley of Notre Dame. I played against big names, Tammy Sutton Brown of Rutgers. So I was there, Kathy Poindexter. I played against the big names. I was the big name. But when I came back, I fell, you guys. I fell royally in my mind. So now I'm lashing out on the world. The world's gonna feel my pain.
Wow. This is so
That's
deep,
something to think about.
Tara, because this is a scenario that many others go through, right? Success at a young age, your town is looking at you as the hometown hero, and you don't live up to their expectations, and now you're trying to find your self-worth because it was based on them saying that you was this or you was that. So tell us about the road to finding yourself. Like, what did that look like? So you went from fighting in the clubs, tearing it up, messing with the drug dealer boy. Then what happens?
Okay, one day, my life changed dramatically. I was in the house, at my grandmother's house. Everyone leaves keys in my grandmother's house. Everyone leaves keys in the house. Your spare key is always at grandma's house. You can count on that. So one day it was about about 2:30, 3:30. Well, no, I want to say about 3:30 in the morning. I got a call at my grandmother. So I answered the phone. It's my cousin. He says, Leah, I lost my keys. I need you to bring me the spare. I said, where you at? He told me he's at the local strip club. So I said, okay, I'm on my way. So mind you, I come out the house. It's summertime. I come out the house in some shorts and just a tank top. So all of this, my back is exposed. Everything is exposed. I just got a tank top, like a wife beater on. So I get there. When I pull up, immediately I see the hugest brawl in America. Like, oh my God, it's so many people fighting from different angles, but I zero in at my cousin. And I see that it's females hitting him and stuff. So I immediately jumped out the car. I grab, you just start grabbing and swinging. So as I'm grabbing and swinging, I kind of raise up. I remember raising up and I hear someone like, Leah. And before I could turn, someone already had ran over me and hit me with a Chevy Suburban XL truck.
What? Oh my God.
And when they hit me, I just remember being hit. And then I remember looking up at the lights coming back again. So this person hit us, pulled up, backed into us again, pulled up, backed us into us again. And then the thing was, what saved us was the gate. It was a gate behind us. He couldn't knock the gate down. Had he knocked the gate down, he would have been able to roll us completely over.
Oh my goodness.
But he couldn't. So he tried to hit us again. And when he hit us again, then he the tire of the car was, if he would have, the third time he was rolling up, the guy that was on the side of him, because there's 4 of us under there now. He hit 4 people. That's how big the truck is. We're 4 of us under the truck. So he saw the tire finna come up against, like up on my leg, and it would crush my chest. So he laid across me, and the tire went up his arm and broke his arm. And then the guy got from out of his driver's side and started shooting under the car, and that's how I got hit. Shooting up under the car.
So the person was in such rage that they drove over you and then started shooting again?
Yes, 3 times. They ran over us 3 times and started shooting. My cousin, it broke his leg. He had a rod in his leg from his hip down. Me, I had no meat on my back at all. All meat was taken off my back. It was opened up. I had holes in my back. I had my whole left side, it looks keloid because I had, from the glass, it cut me open. It cut my back and my arm open, because when you look at gravel and you look at the ground is rough. So mind you, I have the tank top on, a white bit, it ripped the tank top completely off because it drugged me. So with the glass being in the dirt all on the ground, it drugged me and it cut my back up. I was eating through an IV for 2.5 months, laying on my stomach. I had different family members cleaning me. I had holes in my back from catching infections, whereas though they had to keep lancing it. Like every so often, my mom had to go and cut it open a little bit so that the blood and the dead pus and stuff can come out and run out of my back. And then I had got so sick where my temperature had got and I had passed out. So my dad had to rush me to the hospital because they thought I had meningitis at the time. So they kept going in my back. They went in my back trying to do the what's the thing when they stick the long needle in your back?
The epidural.
Yeah, they tried to go in my back to draw fluid out so that they could see if I had it, but they kept hitting the wrong area every time. So they went in my back 4 times. My mom said I was in so much pain. She said, "No, you're not going in her back a 5th time. If you didn't draw what you needed to draw out, you're not drawing it no more." So they didn't do it, and my mom didn't allow it. She said, "I'll take her home and I'll work on it," because my mother worked in the hospital at UMD. So she'd been around all of this stuff. So they took me home. Family members worked around the clock. They cleaned me. They changed my drippings and all of that stuff. And at that moment, I had lost so much weight. I was at least about like 140 pounds maybe, soaking wet. And I'm talking, I was 170, squatting 315 pounds free weights. I was a built girl, very thick. And at this time, I wasn't thick no more. I was just like skin and bones. And at the time, my mom, she just was like, I gotta send you away. I can't have you here no more. I'm gonna lose you here. Newark's gonna kill my baby. It's nothing that's gonna tell me that you're not gonna die here. So my mother, she planned my funeral already. She got 3 policies on me, still to this day. And I'm good now, but she just never knows, she says. She says she trusts that I'm okay now. She see the change in me. She see the woman that I stand before her today. But that moment scared the heck out of her. So she was like, "You got to do something different."
Did they ever find the individual who
I don't know. I didn't even know who did it. So I was unsure what happened because, like I said, I jumped out of the car.
Into a fight.
Into a whole fight that I believe that I didn't have anything to do with it, and I felt like I shouldn't have been a part of it. My cousin, I love him to death, and I knew if he knew that was going to happen, he would never put me in harm's way like that. He would have never did that to me because he loved his family too much. So, and I want to let him know, I know you harbor all of the feelings, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault that happened to me. You can rest and believe and sure that I love you, and I know you love me too.
But also, now that we know like things can just happen even when you're not involved in them, how did that affect your life moving forward? How you went about, how you...
My mom made me go to Detroit, Michigan. She was so afraid that I was going to die on the streets of Newark from all the turmoil, from all the hate, from all the backlash, because someone did run me over, and I am somebody significant to the culture as well as my family is. So my mom sent me away, and great timing, great timing. It was a coach. She used to coach at Montclair University. And she says, she heard me she knew that I got suspended, and she wanted to still give me an opportunity. She said, Aaliyah, you come play for me down at Wayne State University. I'll give you a full scholarship to complete your master's degree.
Wow.
God favored me.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He favored me. He gave me a second chance at redemption.
So let's talk about Wayne State and what that
this is
second
in
chance
Flint.
looked like.
This is-
This is
Michigan.
this is in Detroit.
Okay.
Downtown Detroit, Michigan. So I go to Detroit, Michigan. I go to Detroit, Michigan with a BMW X6. No, X5 at the time. Gold. I love that. I had nothing else. I had a BMW, a car note. That's it. I get down to I get down to Detroit, Michigan. The coach set me up in the dorm room. So now I'm in the dorm room. I'm 21 years old in a dorm room at this time. No, about to be 22 in a dorm room. And no, let me back that. I'm 23 in a dorm room. So I'm in a dorm room with 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and 19-year-olds. I'm 23 years old. I'm annoyed because I'm 23 years
They're annoying.
old,
Yeah.
in there with kids, and they running around and doing stuff like I had my time.
Yeah.
I just want to play ball, and I want to get this scholarship and make my parents proud. Because
Okay.
I want to redeem myself. I want to show my mom I can do better.
So did you get to redeem yourself?
I got to redeem myself.
Tell us what that looked like.
I went down to Detroit, Michigan. I had an X5. I went to school. And the day I went to school, I played basketball. I worked at Red Lobster on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays and got my tips. I was making $800 for 3 days a week working at Red Lobster, going to school in the daytime, playing basketball at night, and I always went to my games. So once basketball was completely over now, then they took.
So how's your scoring? I want to know about basketball. What
My
you looking
scoring-
like? So you
Okay, my scoring was like great. Like I was at the time coming in because the young girls, I think my knees was a little better than theirs though. So I was
And you
coming
also
in
had
there,
been
like,
hit by a car 3
exactly.
times.
So 15, 16 points at the time but normally, like I said, when I left Jersey, I'm coming from 26, 27 points, So to come 15, 16, I still felt defeated, but it was able for my mom to see like I can do this.
Yes.
And I can pass this and I can get it done. So at this point, now I'm in the pick of my career, but I felt like I had lost the love
for basketball.
for basketball.
Okay.
And this was something I love so much. And the reason why is because I'm 23.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm trying to find myself. Now I got to do something different because basketball ain't life. They're not paying these girls to play basketball for the amount of money that I need. Now they're doing stuff now, but back then we didn't have that outlet. When I was in college, the first people I saw go there was the Dawn Staleys, the Cheryl Swoops, the Rebecca Lobos. Those were the first WNBA players. And 2 years later, I would have came out and I probably would have been a part of that history, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't in the cards for me. Everybody say when they see me, oh, you were supposed to go to the WNBA. She was the greatest. She was that. It hurts me when they say that.
Wow.
It may seem uplifting it to them, but it hurts me because it still reminds me of my failure and my shortcoming. And that's how I'm always feel like that because I feel like I was so much more in that game. Like I felt like that game was taken from me.
But that's also, why we wrote I Love Me More, because it's not just about intimate relationships. This is about a place that should have fostered your talent that let you down.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, you just cannot carry that weight when people say that because they did everything but that.
Exactly.
And so, what's amazing is the fact that, again, you were hit by a car 3 times and you still got up and scored 15 points a game at 23 years old.
Yeah.
So you did that, sis.
You did that.
We're going to give you your flowers for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. It's your girl, Dr. Jamila T. Davis, and I have a special announcement. We are finally opening up the Black Women's Lives Matter community. So what does that mean in real time? We can fellowship with you. We have this platform that we're giving to you for absolutely free. And it's a place where you can learn from other Black women just like you. And we're going to be learning real things, speaking to experts about finances, relationships, fashion, fashion, makeup, parenting, you name it, we got it in the community. It's a place that we can fellowship and also heal. We're also going to be having therapy in the community. There's a lot of things that we need to talk about to get off our chest, and we're going to do it in a safe place where we can learn from experts about how to maximize our potential and become the best us that we can possibly be. So what does this mean? It's time to click the link in our bio and join today. It is absolutely free. It costs you nothing and it will grow you so much, I promise you. So meet me in the community. You get to actually work with me this year. I'm going to be doing some one-on-ones. I'm going to be doing some group work, and it's all about leveling up. Meet me in the community. I'll see you soon. And y'all already know what it is. It's going down.
Let's talk about what happens in Detroit. You're in Detroit, you're playing, you're scoring 15 points a game, you're working at Red Lobsters, you got the goal X5, life is back again, this is your second chance. Take us through what was the turning point of Detroit for you.
I met a man. Always done right. To tear you off of your square. That's why I Love Me More is important. Because a lot of young girls don't know to love themselves more. And at the time, I thought I had just made in Detroit. I'm out here. I meet this awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. He pulled me out the dorm rooms. I'm out of the dorm rooms. I'm down in the loft overlooking Canada. I'm like, man, I'm back on top. I'm finna win. But lo and behold, it was no winning in that either because I'm not from Detroit. So they don't got no female friend that's gonna come tell me who this man is. Or no high school student that knew me. Oh, that's Leah right there. Like, you can't do nothing in my city because I'm going to find out. I'm from there. But Detroit, I don't know these people. So I had no one to come tell me what this man was doing or how he was moving and what he got going on. So I was in the household with him. He was a great guy. Can't take nothing away from him, but he loved women. So I didn't know none of this until we got deep in our relationship and things like that. And I just started seeing little things and I'm like, wait a minute. He's doing this differently. I'm starting to pay attention a little bit more. What's going on here? So as more I'm paying attention, now I need to find out how to get around Detroit. I need to find out what's 7 Mile looking like. What's 6 Mile looking like? I'm about to drive in these miles. Where's Eminem? You know what I'm saying? Let me find Eminem. I need
Get
somebody.
a burners and go find him.
I need a burners. And they talking about a pop. Right. I need a cold pop right now to go find Eminem in them because I need to know what this guy doing.
Right.
So what happens is we had some ups and downs where, I found out a few things, but it was nothing major to leave him because he was originally a drug dealer as well, but then he changed because I worked for financial aid at the time. So I said, you know what? I wanted you to do something different. My problem is I'm always helping him. I'm always helping everybody else and forgetting about what I was supposed to be doing or what I was supposed to have got done. I never loved me more. Every time I get with a man, I want to see him win. I want to push him to be great. I feel like the reason why I chose that is because I am nothing. We are nothing without kings sometimes. We need someone to lead us. We can do it all. We can be the king if we want to. We could be an alpha because my relationship now says, oh, you're an alpha. I need you to be this sometime. But it's hard when you've been through so much trauma to just give that power up to somebody. I don't want to give my power up ever again because when I gave it up, at that vulnerable moment, I lost it all. My relationship is where I lost my vulnerable moment at, where I gave up my power and I told myself I'm never going to give my power up. And my new relationship is suffering from that relationship.
Okay, tell me what he did. What did he do to you?
Oh my God. I came home for visit my mom from Jersey and I wanted to check her on her and stuff like that. So I came up for the weekend, but I was supposed to come back to Detroit on that Monday. So I decided, hey, I'm not coming back on Monday. I'm going to surprise and come in on Sunday. So I took a flight back home on Sunday. When I got back in, I'm coming into my up the elevator, I'm walking. So as I'm getting closer to my door, I hear voices. Now mine is 8:30 in the morning. Ain't nobody, no female voice should be coming from my house at 8:30 in the morning. So I walks to the door, and you know how you put your ear to the door? I put my ear to the door. I'm like, let me check this thing. So I hear a female voice, and I hear his voice. So I'm like, nobody in my house. Ain't nobody in my house. Ain't in my good house.
Not in my good house. Overlooking Canada.
We're overlooking Canada. This is my good house. This is the one I pop pride in. So me being me, instead of putting the keys in the door, I slide to the side so you can't see through the peephole. So The door opens up. When the door opens up, he looks down the hallway like the way that you can walk to get to the elevator, but he never looked to the right of the door. I was standing like this on the side of the wall. So when he opened the door and tried to have the young lady come out the door, I pushed him back into the door. And he was the shock of hell. When I say I went ballistic, I don't know where that young lady went. I just saw a cigarette on the floor, her bag on the floor, and I just commenced to losing it on him because he had spinal surgery before I left. And I had like a month or two, I was working with him. I was rehabilitating. I'm gonna be honest, I was holding this thing to use the bathroom. You get what I'm saying? I was washing you up. I was nurturing you. I was being a good person to you.
So hold on, you was holding his thing to use the bathroom, girl.
Let me tell you, Jamila, I was
holding off. You sounded so country, like she was from Mississippi. I'm sorry.
I was holding it, Jamila, like he couldn't use it. He couldn't get up. He had spinal surgery. He had his what is it, your C1 to your C4 fixed. Then he had to get the T. So he like 2 different areas that he had to get. He couldn't even walk because his legs used to be shaking like this. So you trying to get you some
Wow.
while I'm gone.
Wow.
And you got spinal surgery you just had. And I just helped you for like a month and a half and held your thing.
Baby, they do the most sometimes.
Let me tell you, so I'm sitting in.
So you beat him up?
I beat him up till he called. Listen, I've never been called the cops on. It was time for me to go. Because I'm from the old school. He called the cops on me. He gonna call the cops on me.
So this is the other thing about domestic.
He was worried about that L.
Hold on a second, y'all. This is the other thing about domestic violence, right? Because although sometimes, we're the victims of it, other times we're the perpetrators of it. So that was definitely a toxic relationship. Yes. And he hurt you, and your response to hurt and pain is action, and it's action with your hands.
It's action with my hands because I was good at it. My uncle was a boxer. Like I said, he taught us how to box. His name is Superman. They call him King Clark. Everybody knows my uncle.
So you did a combo.
I did a combo. It wasn't a combo.
And then you didn't even get to catch the girl because she done ran or she done left her bag.
She left her bag, and I was so mad. I think I was more mad about the cigarette.
Like, you with a girl with a cigarette?
She's smoking.
That's the first thing I thought. You with somebody smoking a cigarette?
And then what hurt me most too was because the fool had a nerve to tell me that he was helping her because she was in Wayne State University. He was helping her.
So she went to your college too?
That girl didn't go to no college. She looked like a neighborhood hooker.
Wow.
That's what she looked like. But he had her in my home, and all I could think about is my clothes. She was near my clothes.
Yeah.
She was near my bed. She took a shower in my shower. She was near my toothbrush.
Yeah, violation.
Violation 101. So as I'm in there whooping on him.
More trauma.
But this was the worst trauma because now I never had somebody to violate a home. Guys took girls to hotels, right? But now they brought them back to your home. So he believed I was going to be going. So now I'm thinking, dang, how many other times I left and this happened?
Yeah.
So now, after I'm fighting him, I'm beating him, I push him through things. He can't really do nothing to me because he's so jacked up. So I knock him down. He called 911. They come. So when police come or whatever, of course, they see me hit him. So now they throws me against the wall. Oh, we're arresting you, miss. You assaulting him. Jamila, before I knew it, a hog spit on them too. I was mad at the world. I was crying. I'm not from here. I just kept telling the police, you grabbing it wrong. I'm not from here. It's him. I don't have nobody here with me. So they don't care. Man, we saw you assaulted. I'm crying. I'm looking at me. I'm yelling at him. Then he start crying. Don't lock her up. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, lock me up. F him.
First of all, most of the time you be sitting here saying you're triggered. I'm so triggered. I'm over here. I can't even stop it. I'm so triggered right now.
Triggered down.
So I'm like,
it's some egg,
so I told them to lock me up at this point because if you don't lock me up, I'm gonna do something. So now, y'all, this is the most humiliating thing. Everybody always see me go. I work for at the time now I'm with him. I work for Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm an executive. I'm somebody now.
Mm-hmm.
So this happened while I'm somebody. I feel like. So now, the people that's coming in when you sitting down where we were at, I have my hands behind my back like this. I'm sitting on the couch in the middle of my complex where people that I know are walking past me. And then I'm in handcuffs now.
You just put me in the car already.
Listen, take me out of here and take me to jail. I'm ready to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like this now, and people's walking by, people from my job, seeing me like to ask me okay. So I'm crying, tears in my hair all over the place. So then the cop was like, please just call my mother. Just call my mother. I'm crying. So he calls my mother on the phone. So I'm calling her. I'm like, Ma. Before I know it, she's like, what's wrong? So I hear her yelling. My father in the background, something wrong, Leah. They thinking something happened.
Yeah.
Someone did something to me. So I'm sitting on the couch still with my arms behind my back. And then I'm talking to him and I'm telling her whatever. He had a girl in the house and I went to do this. So she like, what? So put the officer on the phone. Officer, please, let my daughter go. She'll come home today. I'll pay for her flight to come home today. Let my baby go, please. She's not from there. I can't get to her fast enough. You know, like I told you, my parents are helicopter parents. So when I hear my mom crying and she was like, ma'am, we're going to talk to him. If he don't want to press charges, we'll let her go, but she got to leave here. So my mother like, leave there. Ain't all her stuff there? Why he can't leave? Well, ma'am, she's the aggressor. So I get there, they talk to him. He don't want to press charges. He just want me to give his laptop back. But by that time, I took the laptop and gave it to the maintenance guy. You know, he was walking by, so you can have this. This is fine and good. So I told him, I said, I don't have it. He was like, yes, she do. She took it out of there. I said, I don't have it. I said, I gave it away. Oh, I'm going to go take you to court for it. Take me to court. So I left it at that or whatever. So I called home to my mother. She was like, get your stuff, come. I said, Mom, I don't want anything. Jamila, when I say it, I left with nothing. I left Detroit, Michigan with nothing. No furniture, no clothes, no nothing. I left everything I had. And we talking about, by this time I'm 6 figures. I'm a 6-figure chick at this time. I'm 26 years old. 6 figures. But I left with nothing. And I felt like everything was dirty. I think that my clothes were dirty. The girl didn't wear my clothes, but I felt like it was dirty. Everything in the house could stay. So I let everything stay and I walked away with nothing. Zero.
Wow.
Zero.
But see, that's the thing that people don't talk about, especially when it gets into cheating and people thinking that it's a difference because you're a woman or this person's a guy, and what we really mentally go through when we have been violated in such a way. And people take it so lightly. And I mean, I can relate to that, you know. It got crazy with me a couple times. You know, Peter didn't call the police, but he pulled over and told them what happened.
Exactly.
He threw me right under the bus. And I was like, aren't you from the Bronx?
You're not supposed to
snitch.
And that's what I was saying.
Everything that happened.
I didn't never know a man to snitch. And when he did that to me, it was like, oh my God, they live in a different code down here. So when that happened and I didn't have anything or whatever, I came
back to Jersey. And did you begin again?
I started the journey of healing again, not even beginning again. I tried to heal again, but I couldn't because I always had that in my thought that if I let somebody back in, they're going to do this, they're going to do that to me. That's why it's hard for people to actually understand my passion towards certain things. They take my passion as arrogance or too much sometimes because I'm more passionate now than I ever been because y'all don't know my storm. You don't know my troubles. You don't know those late nights I had begging God to take me. You don't know, and you would look at me and like, you begged God to take you? Yes, I did. Lord, I can't do this no more. I'm not built for this yet. You know, I know my mother, my only child. She'll be okay. You know, this is how I used to be crying, but I didn't do more crying till I got back here because I feel like I didn't cry over him that much because I still had a little strength because I had my parents like, oh, you're good. You don't have to worry about no man. You come home and mommy and daddy will be right here to pick you up what you left. But that wasn't true either because of the fact that my parents, they were still helicopter parents. So it seemed as though I had a curfew. I'm damn near grown. And you talking about come in the house at a certain time or do this at a certain time. I can't do that. I can't live like that. I haven't been living like that. So it became, now I'm coming home, I feel like I'm enslaved. I'm imprisoned. So now I'm leaning on my friends. My friends are there for me. My best friends are there. They're like, yo, you could come stay at my house. You could do this. You could do that till you get on your feet, till you need something. But nobody, I always still rode around in the flyest cars, had the flyest drives. I looked at like I still had it going on. But in all actuality, I had nothing.
And it's so many people that's just like that today.
I had nothing.
Looking good on the outside, but broken on the inside. Yeah. That's why social media and all that stuff folks be following, it don't really show or tell the true story. And I'm grateful for places and spaces like this where you could just open up and just
a lot
keep
of
it
people
real.
don't look like that girl had it. No, I didn't. I didn't have it. I didn't have nothing. I looked like I had it. Every time y'all saw me driving a Tahoe or saw me driving a whip and thought it was mine, I didn't never tell y'all it wasn't mine. Y'all never asked, but it was rented. Everything. Everything was rented until I got on my feet to get back and start buying my cars because I came from having 5 and 6 cars to not having nothing. that guy didn't let me walk away with nothing. He didn't give me a car. He didn't say, you can have this. I walked away with the clothes that was on my back that day. I was arguing and fighting with him.
And what year was that?
The year of that was, I want to say 20. I had to be about, I want to say I met Khalil in about 5 years now. So we're talking about 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yep, about 6.5 years ago.
So bring us to present to your
not that
healing
long
journey.
ago.
Yeah. That's why I say a lot of trauma. I gets back to Jersey and I got help. So now I'm in Jersey. I'm getting my money up. I'm working remote because I did find a job. So now I'm working remote from Jersey, from Detroit. Like my job was in Detroit, but I'm working remote here. So I'm working remote and now the pandemic hits. So boom, we're in the
So you was remote before the pandemic.
Yeah, I was remote before the pandemic. So now the pandemic hits and now I am stationed. So I goes back to Detroit actually. And my friend's like, hey, I can help you get a house. I'm like, word? She's like, yeah, I'll help you get a house in Warren. I'm like, okay, cool. So she helped me do that, and I was able to obtain a house in Warren, Michigan. So I get me a place in Warren, Michigan or whatever, and I'm like, Ma, I got this. I'm ready for the world. I can do this. I'm going back to Michigan one more again. So I went down to Michigan, and I stayed there for another maybe 1.5, 2 years. But I felt like at the time that I was lonely. I didn't have nobody down there. I have family members because my grandmother's originally from there. But when you don't grow up somewhere, it's like, it's not, it's
the
a
culture's different. It's very different.
It's very
Sure.
different.
And I spent a lot of time in Michigan.
Mm-hmm. And they want us to
very
connect
different.
with my family. And I love my family dearly out there, but I really couldn't be there the way I would be in Jersey because of the fact that these were the close people to me. So I tried to stay as long as I could, but it didn't work because now I'm ready to come home. So now I'm back home for good.
Okay.
I come back. Now I'm in Jersey.
So we in 2020.
Now we are in 2020.
Okay.
I came home 2020. I'm here in 2020. I'm ready to go hard. So I'm here. I get here maybe I want to say April of 2020. So I'm not April, May of 2020. So I'm here for 2 months or whatever. So I'm just checking the scenery out, seeing what's what, trying to figure out, get a job and things like that. So boom, I land a job. I land a job at Merck. So now I got a job.
Pharmaceutical company.
Pharmaceutical company.
All right, sis.
I'm moving on up to the east side, And I never had my own place in Jersey. I never lived in Jersey other than with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So now I feel different because now I got responsibility in Jersey. I never had responsibility in Jersey. I got a job, my first job in Jersey. I never had a job in Jersey. And I'm from here. So now I got my first job. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm getting money. And boom, I meet an awesome person at the time. He comes in my DM and he says, hi, I know you. Everybody wanted you back in the day. Can I take you out to dinner or lunch? I'm like, of course.
Slide in the DM.
You know what I'm saying? Slid right in that DM. Right in that DM. You know who you are. You slid right in that DM. And I'm like, oh, of course, I know who he is a little bit, not much, but, I know a little bit. I don't know his entire story. I just remember he was a good kid growing up, playing basketball. He was a dope person or whatever. But I was like, all right. So that tells my best friend. I'm like, hey, guess what? Such and such just asked me on a date. She said, fool, don't go on that date. Straight like that, fool, don't go on that date. I said, why? She was like, do you know who you going on a date with? I'm like, yeah, I remember we used to play basketball. He did it. She's like, nah, he was convicted of killing a police officer. He didn't actually do it, but he was, he served time for it at the time. And he was a menace to society, girl. No, you don't want that one. You better go get somebody. You think the person you last dated was a problem. You think you got ran over was a problem. You finna be in the world of trouble. You mess with this individual. So I'm like, dang, he that bad? So I'm like, well, I'm still going on this date.
That's you. You gonna tell
That's me. I'm
daredevil.
Daredevil.
That was like the invitation to go. The moment somebody says, oh, I could change him.
And that's me. I don't feel like I could change the world, but I feel like I could change one person at a time if I touch and reach them. That's it. If I reach one person at a time, I could change them. I can brainwash you into believing in yourself. I can brainwash you to believe that you are great. I can brainwash you to believe that you can do anything that you set your mind to. That's who I am.
But with all of that pouring into other people, how much of that are you pouring back into yourself?
That's where I lost. That's what I'm about to tell you. This is where you guys had came into my life. I'm gonna bring y'all in too because I always look and try to help everybody. I want to help everybody. My friends always tell me, you do too much. You help too much. You always want to see somebody succeed. You always give, and nobody gives to you. I watch you be left-handed in the bag. My mom said as a kid, I'll go to the store and I'll buy you everything, and I'll watch you sit on the stoop and distribute all your stuff, and then you looking crazy sitting there with nothing in your hand, everybody eating your stuff, and not one person offered you anything of your own stuff.
That's real.
So that's the same thing. I pour into people, and nobody ever pours into me. Nobody ever gives me the pat on the back that I need. Check on your strong friends.
That's good.
You got to check on your strong friends, because we're not always strong. We pretend to be. We pretend to have it all together and hold it together, but you have to check on us.
Ditto.
So once I met this particular guy, he began to tell me everything that he was doing, and I fell in love with his intelligence. I fell in love too fast. That's what I want to say. Too quick, too fast, too soon, because he wasn't ready for me. He wasn't ready for me because he had served significant amount of time. He had did 15 to 20, years throughout the life. So he never been on the street longer than a year. So, it's not like you forcing people to be with you, but I have instructions. I come with instructions and directions, because when you read over these instructions, this is who I am. It's either you take it or leave it. It's on you. But I had boundaries because I've been through so much trauma that I was afraid now to go forward with anybody because I got trauma. And I need him to understand my trauma, because this trauma is going to get us where we need to be. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me. We're going to help each other, because two heads is better than one. But you need to understand my trauma, because I have problems. I have big problems. I have big trust issues. So what I thought was good to do was to pour out my trauma to him. Tell him everything I've been through so that you can know.
Baby, no.
It was not the right idea. It was not the right idea. I didn't know. I was trying to take a different approach. I didn't know what approach to take. I don't have a big sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My mom, she only been in one relationship her entire life, so how she could tell me? She can't tell me much. All she could tell me.
What ends up happening, sis? I'm scared to even ask you this.
No, I know, because you love so hard.
Yep. Well, nothing major happened other than success happened in this part of the relationship. Only thing happened is that we have to battle each other. We bump heads because of the fact that he felt like I forced him into a relationship that he wasn't ready for. But he says, I don't want to lose the relationship because it's worth fighting for. So how do you battle with that? How do you battle with, dang, I wasn't ready for you, but I can be ready. I could get ready in my time and due time, but my timing is not your timing. I didn't understand what that meant. It looked like at the time when we first got together. So I'm like, well, we've been together 2 years now. Now you want to think about this type stuff. So it caught me by surprise. But we went back to the drawing board where we you know what? We were friends. So let's figure our friendship out. Let's figure what we can do to move forward to help each other. So then we realized we had a movement. He came with a movement called New Direction. And the New Direction movement decided to move forward. So he was like, you know what? You are a great asset. I'm a great asset to you, and you're a great asset to me. So it started with an asset thing. It started with where we can help each other, build each other up, strengthen each other up. So we began to build and strengthen each other up so that we can build and strengthen our personal relationship as well. So as we were building our organization, we were building us too. We were putting ourselves in position. So it was no longer like, oh, you forced me to do this. Now you had the opportunity to choose your path if Alia is what you want. So as time rolled in, we decided that this is what we want. This is where we at as people. And we want to help our people. We want to get out here and do some things major. And he began to just tell me what he wanted to do for the community. And I got lost in it.
So for the viewers, that's where Tara and I met Alia. I never forget, I was going to the Office of Violence Prevention in Newark, New Jersey, and I saw you and you came and spoke to me, and it was just a bright light. And then to see the work that New Direction has been doing in Newark, New Jersey, they've been helping to fight against violence, in the city, helping people to, really rehabilitate, choose other paths other than violence. And it's admirable, the significant amount of work that I've seen them do. And, it's so crazy now because you're telling us this story, which I never knew this story. We only know the story of your work, and now loving them because those are our brothers now.
Exactly.
And you,
I didn't even
it's
know you
just
talked about our brother.
So now it's just like a tug of war in this, and understandably, him coming from trauma, crazy situation, you coming from what you coming from. I'm just praying for y'all because you're delicate. And the reason we decided to bring you on the show, because we saw your voice and we saw your light, and we know it's time to elevate you.
Absolutely.
So what we want to do is put the mask back on you. And so, Alia, I want you to have this because I want you to remind yourself, let's read
Every day.
Yes.
I love me more. So we love our brother. We love the organization. We love all of the wonderful work that you're doing. But I feel like it's important in this to remind yourself to love yourself more.
Absolutely.
Because you deserve it.
Absolutely. I pour so much into so many people, you know, that I do deserve to be poured into, to be loved on, and things of that nature. And that's all we do for New Direction. We literally pour into others. And I'm not like, in the beginning, he wasn't ready, but he's ready now. And he's teaching me more now of how to be loved properly. I didn't know how to be loved properly. I didn't know that a man could be understanding and they could understand your trauma and you can understand their trauma, because he had a lot of trauma too. So I didn't understand that he lost 15 years of his life. He didn't get to party like we did those 15 years. He didn't get to experience, I've been to every state except 2 in 13 different countries. He didn't get to experience what I get to experience. But I had that's not just the trauma I had. Like, just speaking on it, Jamila, I got cut in the neck. You know, I left that out because there's just so much trauma in my life that I got stabbed 2 centimeters from my main artery before the boyfriend. And, you know, while I was with Detroit, the boy in Detroit, before I went through having to beat the girl up. You get what I'm saying? Stabbed 2 centimeters from my main artery. Called home, is she gonna live or die? My mother said, do it all you can. I was in surgery 5.5 hours. I had a stem sticking by the cord of my neck, and they said, ma'am, if we move it, she might die. If we don't move it, she might die. So I wanna say to everybody that's listening, you have to love you more. You have to.
I just want to ask you one question. That fight, what was that over? Was that because of Alia?
What is that?
I don't know who it was over and what it was. I was with a friend, a female friend out there, and I just remember being in a club in a spot that she knew all of the people at, and I don't know if the girl thought that she was messing with her man or me. I don't know, because I'm not from there. So I'm like brand new out of Newark, you know, and I knew a friend down there. We met each other in financial aid and through a mutual friend. So now we're in school, we're doing stuff together, and then I go to a club with her one night. So the guy I was dating, he was like, okay, well, I'll see you later. I was like, all right, not a problem. Went to the club. By the time he got a call, it's like, come to the hospital. She got a stem sticking out. And she didn't just cut me. She broke a wine glass off and stuck me in the neck with a stem of a wine glass. So I've been through a lot of trauma. That's why it's hard for me to trust, hard for me to have some females around me. All of that, Jamila.
I just got to breathe because it's too much, Alia.
I know.
It's too much. And every situation you talk to us about, it wasn't just about you. It's always someone else or something else. And it's about, almost to me, like you being a sacrificial lamb.
Exactly.
You willing to die for people who may or may not die for you. And I can see that because that's me, and I've done that, but I haven't necessarily caused myself that kind of, you know, physical harm, you know, although I lost time and things like that from my life from doing some of those things. But that's why I wanted you here on this love seat, because this is a process, y'all. We're not telling you stories that, okay, are finished and done. You know, Alia's doing amazing things. She's a community leader, community hero. She's taken her pain, pushed it into purpose. But God is not through with you yet, Alia. He's got something even greater for you. And I just want you to be mindful as you sit in the healing seat that you got to do some work, sis.
I do.
Have you been to therapy?
Well, I just signed up for therapy recently after my accident because I got hit again in a truck. We was in a Suburban, me, my significant other, and a friend. And someone ran the light and flipped the Suburban up in the air, and it flipped over and it rolled, right? It slid right into a church parking space right in front of a church. And this was on in February this year. Like, it's just like, I just know the calling. One thing about it, I always say, if I got 9 lives, I only got 2 left. If we really got 9 lives, if they say that, I'm only got 2 left. Because each time God saves me, He keeps bringing me back for a reason. So I know my purpose ain't done yet, Jamila. I still know that I got work to do. And all the work that I do, I pull all my trauma, all my pain. You guys don't even know, like I used to, like when I went through my little stage, I didn't know what depression looked like. But I remember gazing out the window and just crying profusely and couldn't stop crying because I'm just like, what's happening to me? Why is everything always happening to me and nobody else? And I began to question God. And then God began to speak to me. The reason why I'm doing this to you because you're worshiping something that's not me. You're giving your all to something that can't heal you. Every time you want something to help or work for you, you can't call on them. When you're depressed and you crying, you calling on me and I'm saving you. But you're going out here and giving them the glory. You out here pushing forward them. You don't show up for me. This how I felt like God was begin to minister to my soul and my heart and letting me know the place and space that you are in, you need to, I'm gonna sit you down from worshiping humans. I'm gonna sit you down. I'm gonna put you down. Because if you don't understand what I'm doing for you, you'll never understand. Because it ain't we who made us, it's him who made us.
I got a tough question. Mm-hmm. Have you really gotten the message?
I have not. Let me be honest with you. I hear God, but I feel like I haven't taken heed to what he said yet because of the fact that I got to get to a place and space of my life that I feel like I'm stronger. I'm stronger. Sometimes the weight of the world holds on my shoulder because nobody knows what I go through once that the lights and the glimpse and the glam is off and the makeup is off and it's nobody in that quiet place but you and God, and you got to stand there. You got to work and you got to cry and you got to keep fighting for yourself. Nobody fought for me, Jamila. I fight for me every day. Nobody don't give me no handout. Nobody don't give me nothing to say, Aaliyah, here goes something. I got to go out there and get it myself. I don't get nobody to say, great job. Well done. I went out there and I got trauma to trust. I went out there and got awards. I didn't get no acclimates for that. Nobody didn't stand up and chant for me. Nobody didn't say, great job, Aaliyah. I got to go home. I got to pat my own self on the back. I got to tell myself, I get up every morning and I look at myself and say, you're wonderful. You're great. I don't got nobody telling me that every day. I watch other people tell other people that, but they don't tell me that.
Well, guess what? Let's stop right now.
Yeah.
And let's tell our sister who we see on the front lines how great, how wonderful, how fabulous,
amazing.
how incredible you are. And that's the reason that you're sitting here on this couch, because we see you and we love you and we know that there's greatness in you. But you cannot continue to put people and things before you because like you said, I don't know how many times you got. Your calling is so real and it's so deep. And you're supposed to do this thing, whatever this thing is. And I think it's even greater than all the things that you're attached to. Even currently, I feel like it's going to be even bigger than that. Continue to let God do his work. And we're going to do this work together. Is that all right, y'all?
Yes, I need it. I need it. I need sisterhood. I need all of this.
Well, guess what? You could get this sisterhood and you already in our community. And for those that are watching, join our community, www.blackwomens'livesmatter.com.
Yes.
We're a sisterhood. We're on the front lines with our sister. We're going to continue to do this work. We're going to continue to pour. I'm going to be your accountability
You
partner.
are my sister.
we love you.
Yes, I love you. And I know that you ladies have given ladies a new direction and new direction, the opportunity of a lifetime. And we're not going to let our city down. We're not going to let our community down. We're not going to let you ladies for choosing us down because we know that new direction is the way. And we're going to get it done with you guys' help as well and connections because that's what it's all about. It's about making connections, getting the sisterhood together. I want to bring the sister back in the hood because we don't have that no more.
All right, well, we're going to make that happen.
Yes.
And thank you, sis, for coming to the Love
I love me more.
Yes, and meet us in the after chat. We're going to have Aaliyah there to talk to you all. What an amazing episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next
See
time.
you next time. Bye.
On the next episode of I Love Me More podcast.
Let's give it up for Tamika D. Mallory.
People say that I'm an activist, and that's a part of what I do. But I'm actually an organizer. I was a very talkative child. I was always that kid. People didn't necessarily like that about me, and I would challenge the administration, if you will, in school.
Your parents created a master of art. Even though you may have went left, they trained you up as a child to lead the world.
I was born to be a public figure. They provided me with content that would be for the good of myself and my people. person might have been 19 and I was, like 15. At 15 years old, you should not be with somebody like that's your husband. He shows up with a tattoo on his neck of my son's name. I stood in my mother's hallway and I said to him, "You're doing everything except being consistently around." And I said, whatever it is that you're into that's keeping you away from my child, it's gonna catch up to you. We just left. And she calls me and she's like, "You have to come back to the house right now." She said, he's gone, he's dead. Everything my parents had been trying to teach me came together full circle. And I had the cover of the newspaper and I said, why isn't it on the cover that all these black men were killed? Like, this should be front page. Like, shouldn't there be outrage in the nation?
So you took your pain and you turned it into your purpose.
Absolutely.
And boom, the activist is
There
born.
was.